Hi, everyone. Welcome back. As you can see, it's Dave Johnson
Hi
time
there.
from Australia, which is winter in Australia now.
Yeah, I
We're
got the heat on.
yeah, we're having it. We got the air conditioner on. Maybe not in Colorado as much, but yeah. So we have reversed climates as
Yes.
as we do.
Yeah.
And I just came back from Sedona. I went to Sedona, the
Oh,
PDG
really?
retreat in Sedona. That was great. That was wonderful. Met a whole bunch of people. And, Jen Lynn was telling a story about you because she had done a reading with you. And she does that healing that she did, like a shamanic healing, I guess
hmm
is what she kind of called. Anyhow, she was saying that she was on a call with you and you were wondering about your shoulder, and she says, well, what's going on with your knees? And you're like, how'd you know that? So yeah, she was talking about you when she was
Oh,
doing
yeah.
healing sessions that she
No,
had.
good. Yeah, no kidding. She's great.
Yeah. And so that's where I have come. So I want to know, what have you been up to?
Oh, I'm still migrating, changing my business. One thing about intuitive work is that it can change a lot, and you just kind of have to like figure it out and go, break stuff and then fix it. So I got a new channel which is called Pyramid 4. And one of the problems is no one can find it. So I'm like researching all that SEO stuff. It's Pyramid 4. I did link it to my channel. That is, my Moonride channel has a link there much of the time. I'm still working on that one, but um, so I do lots of like a group channeling on Friday. I'm not sure I've mentioned this before, but it's Friday for me anyway. There's people around the world who are doing this group channeling, and it's really, 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 it's called the V group. And it's like we're like these ambassadors in space, and we go meet these light beings, and they give us these information. And one of us will channel. Sometimes two in a session will be channeling at the same time, even. And it is absolutely like any questions of the universe, how did the resurrection happen, what was Siddhartha thinking about death, all of these are just it's really, really profound. I hope when I say that, like, nobody feels diminished regarding just future predictions. I think that we're working and learning by doing that, and to some degree we need some control over the political environment, because if we became a fascist dictatorship, you and I won't be doing this work. We'll be hidden away someplace, or trying to
Sure.
change our videos to fit a political environment. I
Or
truly
we
believe.
won't be able to do it. We will be
Yes.
hidden. We would have to find the dark corners of the internet if we have access to it.
If we had access to it, right? I mean, we're going to talk, I think, about this a little bit more, but apparently Twitter malfunctioned when DeSantis was making his announcement, which leaves us to wonder, is Twitter going to choose the Republican candidate? Maybe they and sabotage a person just by having things not work very well. And it is Elon Musk who's really choosing the president. Now, instead of Fox News choosing the president, it's going to be Elon Musk. These are serious questions. And I
Yes,
hope all of the viewers will know that if they are worried and feel this is serious, I don't want to encourage them to worry, but they are right. We cannot paint paintings on a sinking ship. We have to address these things.
I agree. Well, it just came to me. It's really ironic that on Elon Musk's platform, where DeSantis is announcing his presidency while he buddies up with Elon, and that platform, it just it just screams sign, sign, sign. You shouldn't do it. It's a sign. It's a sign.
Yes, don't run. Don't run. Don't run. Run for cover. I
Yeah.
think he is not intuitive as you, and he will not get that message.
No,
And I
he
would
will
like to
not.
say, all of you out there have a lot on DeSantis, right? You know what it means when Twitter doesn't work for you.
It's like a sign when you have a wedding, if it rains and thunders and storms and at your wedding, the sign
Yes.
you might have a volatile life, right?
Yes, yes,
That may
yes,
or may not be true. Don't come for me. But
yes,
it's kind of like that theory.
yes. Yeah, think twice. Think twice. I mean, I don't know. I mean, just again, as an American person, how is Twitter benefiting any of us except as a social media? I think that Congress should pass a law that no politician should be allowed to use Twitter. All it is used for is to create discontent and arguing and fighting. You cannot, in Twitter message, convey a good, rational policy that rational people discuss.
No, I think Twitter for the politicians should only be for a positive messaging. That's what I feel.
Mhm.
I don't think they should be off of it because I think people who are sitting somewhere that they're not available to any other messaging other than
Mhm.
Twitter, that they should be getting positive messages from our lawmakers. Like this is what we did today,
Uh-huh.
this, that, and the other. I think it should be that.
Yes.
Same with TikTok. They can't go on there and act a fool. But that's just my thought on that too.
Mhm.
So what we're going to do first, and this is really exciting, I think, is what we're going to do first is we're going to talk about readings. And not very many people, I've never heard anybody talk about readings, about how to find a reader, how do you know you need a reading, and all of this stuff. And then after that, stay tuned, watch the whole video. I've always said this, that the vibration that we start off with, it gets higher and higher and higher by the time we get to the end. So remember, the high vibrating, just watching it build in a video with any reader is incredibly important to watch the whole
Mm.
video.
Mhm. Good
But
point.
anyhow, so I have my dogs over here getting into stuff. So a few of my questions is how do you know when you need a reading? How would you know
Mm.
when
Mm.
you needed a reading?
For me personally, obviously I'm meditating a lot and I'm speaking to the universe a lot and I get a lot of answers. But if I get to a point where I just can't figure it out, it's almost like I just start speaking to a friend and I want a different perspective. There are many things that all y'all can just intuit, ask the universe about kind of, but there's sometimes a hmm, hmm. So I choose a reader when I have questions that I cannot answer on my own and I want a different perspective.
Good. Yeah, when I know that I need a reader is that I cannot get out of my own self to find out
Yeah,
the answer.
yeah,
I just
right.
can't get away from me. I'm like all of my thoughts and all of that. And I don't know about you, but can you read yourself? Because I can't read myself. I can get
Um,
perspective and I can talk to my own guides and stuff like that, and I have guidance. That's a highway, right? That's what I have.
right, right.
But I cannot read myself. Like I couldn't throw cards onto me because I have high expectations what those cards should be.
Right, right. Well, one thing that I do, having a shamanic background, I do a lot of journeying. And when shamanic journeying is, you actually have a question. So you mentioned my knees. A question might be, how can I be better with my knees, for example? And I will get some of that information. There's a process where I don't immediately walk out and go, I know what to do. I'm still kind of thinking, and then Universal will send me messages about how to. It's not a complete process. I still do need help, but I do believe that all of you, reader or not, can go and say some things to the universe, like I can say this: universe, send me the right reader, and that'll happen. One example. I have all of my friends are all online. They're all of these American people. I don't see anybody face to face, and I've realized in the past couple of months that's a problem. I have to have human contact. I live in Australia. I should be working with Australians. I have to be here
Right,
and real friends, like not
right,
that you're
right.
imaginary. And so I totally I did a little bit of a shaman work, but I actually did the positive thinking work that was really helpful for me. And
But
I
these are
really
all readings and help that you're getting on the outside. So what I'm hearing is you're getting outside help as well. Like you
Mhm.
would get a shaman. So the shaman say, hey, you need a healer, or you need a person who can read your body, or you would need,
Yes.
those are the types. So the
So
connection with your higher power is
mhm.
powerful. But how would you know? That's how you know you need a reader, is when you get the guidance.
Kind of. So here's an example, like my knees. It's a physical body problem that I have difficulty being objective about. That I definitely knew, just like I need to talk to a doctor and always talk to a doctor. I also need, I had a reader say, Dave, this is when you can't meditate away. You really do.
Yeah.
You really do need a minor operation. Suck it up. Science is real. Oh, that was really, really, really helpful. And thank you, Jacinta, for telling me that, because it was a lifesaver. She told me, for example, I was having problems with one knee. She's like, Dave, both knees. I went in for an MRI, and both knees need a minor operation for that.
See, there you
So
go. Yeah.
that's a great example of when you need a reader. Yeah, I think you're going to mention too how you know to pick them.
Yeah,
Is that a
yeah, we
question?
have we have the second question is, how do you know how to pick a reader for you?
Mhm. Well, one thing that I would tell anyone, and this is also for contacting spirit, is it should feel better than neutral in your heart. So an example would be when I teach people how to channel, I'm always like, heart, heart, heart. There's a doorway. What's it for into spirit land? What's it look like? And they'll be like, yeah, it's a refrigerator, Dave. I'm like, how do you feel about the refrigerator door? I don't really like it. I'm like, no, that's not the door you should walk through. Let's address that you have some anxieties at some point and bring a new door. And then they will immediately create a new door, and it's much better. And I'd say that's true about the reader that you choose. If you watch them and you are moved in your heart and you think that is a good person, and you can literally close your eyes and access your heart, and trust me, women are better at this than men, and go, do I like that? Does it feel good? Obviously, the other thing is, some readers aren't going to work for you or won't work for you on a particular day. I have one reader who was extremely efficient, but had very poor bedside manner. She
Right.
was very like school marmish with me. And although I got a good deal out of the reading, I was like, that didn't feel good. And you shouldn't pick a reader just because they say nice things.
And you shouldn't pick a
If you're
reader just
honest.
because they're famous.
Yeah, that's they may not be the right one for you. Perfectly good
Right.
person.
That's a
And I
good
don't.
point, is
Mm,
just because they're popular and they're famous and
mm,
they have all of these things, make sure that
uh,
you're checking with yourself before you do that, because
yes.
being a reader out of money, property, and prestige, that's that may not work for you, right?
Right. Right.
I agree with you. I agree with you. So
Mm,
there's that picking a reader. Like when you
use the
pick
heart.
a reader, yeah, when you pick a reader with me, I always tell them I am a healer. I am a natural healer, meaning that if you need things healed, I will wick that information out of you. Just be prepared that healing,
Uh,
because I am an empath, and that's pretty much how the reading is going to go, is to find out the ins and outs of how what we can do, the universe can do to help you heal.
mhm,
I think yours is to give them their communication, to give them their messages in order for them
mhm,
to get past whatever it is that they're needing to do. So the messenger
mhm,
in you. And there's a lot of, like, people really love to hear from their ones that are past. And sometimes I don't
mhm,
ever advertise like I'm a medium, but as I'm doing a video, a reading with you, if somebody comes in, I'll tell you.
mhm.
Sometimes
Exactly.
it happens, sometimes that doesn't, but I don't, and the same with you. Like, you're doing a
Yeah.
reading and all of a sudden, yo, dude's here. I'm like, who is this? You know what
Yeah. 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 And maybe like one thing I would say about my readings that's maybe a little bit different is I try to always start cold. So I don't tell me
Yes.
anything, and then I'll just go and I will see some kind of a square, and I'll see them in the square, and I'll see something happening. And it's, you know, amazing. It's really amazing. It's very symbolic. An elephant has shown up. I think that this is how I think this elephant means this. And I think people really appreciate that because in a way, it is a little bit of a test. Is this guy telling me the truth, or is he just picking up on some stuff and saying it? If I could just mention too, one great reading I had, and unfortunately, I was this guy's last reading. He's gone to work with animals, but I was watching him on They Call Us Chandlers. His name is William Schaffer, and I just took one look at him, and he was really honest. He wasn't telling people what they wanted to hear. He was really smart and savvy. He was totally unpretentious person, and he gave me a really honest, you don't want to hear this, Dave, but I'm going to tell you reading. And that's what I
Right.
was looking
Right.
for. Yeah.
I too do cold. I don't ask for,
Oh, yeah.
anybody's information. The less I know, the better. I don't want to know what your birth date is, kind of. Some people do, and that's fine. But I am too. The colder, the better.
Hmm.
I think my messages come across more pure, and and it's not jaded or anything. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I actually have that. So
Great.
that's a good way to know how to pick a reader. If you're trying to pick a reader, and it says, what is the reader's job? The reader's job is to bleh, I can't say the word.
Interpret.
Yeah, there we go. Interpret. There we go. Interpret the messages that spirit in the world want to give you.
Hmm.
I am not here to heal. I'm not here to like fix you, right? It's like going in and asking for a haircut, and I need curly haircut. And when you have straight hair, I'm like, I'm not a magician.
Yeah.
You can't cut your
Yeah.
hair to being curly. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's another thing that nice. That's what is the reader's job. The reader's job is to tell you what you need to hear through the universe and through spirit. And we're not here to fix. We're not here to,
Right.
get you a husband or a girlfriend, or
Hmm. Hmm.
So
And
what do you think on that?
we're not here to be amusing, right? I mean, like you have the reader at the party, they're reading the tarot cards, and they're not going to tell you anything terrible, right? They're
Right.
going to be like, oh yeah, you're making money, that's they're there to entertain you. And there's
Yes.
nothing wrong with entertainment. But it's a lot more helpful when somebody in a nice way tells you what you are not seeing.
Right.
Like a best friend.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. We try to answer your questions the best that we can. When we
Mhm.
have yes or no questions, sometimes they're gray in the gray area. Well, maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I agree. And I know that I have right here. So the top 4 reasons why people usually get readings. One is, will I fall in love? Will I be rich? Job related,
Yeah.
or should I move or stay put? Those are the four
Right.
major ones that people,
Mhm.
kind of, and I don't mind answering those kind of questions, because I know that those
Mhm.
are important questions as well. But sometimes it just kind of feels like, let's get deeper. I know when I'm doing a reading, I'm like, yes, you'll find love as soon as you accept love. Now let's get deeper in the reason why you're not accepting love. Why don't you have a
Bingo.
boyfriend by now? Because it's you, not
Mhm.
them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
so I
Okay.
try to switch it to that, will I be rich? I don't know. Where is your idea of what money is? You know what I mean? Get
Right.
deeper into the real reason why
Mhm.
what
Mhm.
is your relationship with money? What is your relationship with your job? What is your relationship with, wanting to move or staying put? You know what I mean? So I like getting deeper into that, and I know you do too. And I have some
Mhm.
suggestions, and you might have some suggestions too.
Sure.
I have like 4 suggestions that you could go outside of the normal questions that people want to know. Number one is, where am I at on my soul journey? Wouldn't you want to know that?
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
those are great, and that's a great alternative questioning that you could have
Mhm.
ask your reader. Number one, two is there anything I should be paying closer attention to in my life? You know how
Mhm.
we get so busy and so focused. What am I not paying attention to? Is my partner
Mhm.
tanking over here and I haven't even noticed it? Is that my partner sad? Or is my, this, or is, something
Mhm.
in that lines that spirit can really get into to help you pay closer
Mhm.
attention to.
Mhm.
Number 3, where have I not healed? I want to know that before I leave this earth. I want to know that I gave myself the complete and the most opportunity to heal anything and everything that I have ever had in my life.
Mhm.
Right. And the first time I ever got healed something, I'm like, I'm doing this more often, and I'm doing this a million times. I am not going to stop doing it until I know that there's an ending to this healing, right? Which there isn't.
Mhm.
I have to tell you the truth,
Mhm.
but I want to do this as much as possible. And the
Mhm.
fourth one is, what tools do I need to move into the next levels of consciousness for me?
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
Where
Right.
am I stuck? That's the question. Where am I stuck? What
Right.
tools have I not accumulated, and I need to do? Sometimes the tools is get more honest. Sometimes the tool is don't drink alcohol. Sometimes the tool, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Stop smoking cigarettes. Sometimes the tool is, stop eating candy and switch over to this. Sometimes those tools, those are, pretty obvious tools.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
another tool of mine is, um, what am I giving up to hold on to this grudge of another person?
Great question.
What have I given up inside of me to just make sure that I stay mad? I give up
Yeah.
self-respect. I give up my ability to love. Just because I want to hate somebody, I've given up my ability to love them. I mean,
Mhm.
these are like really powerful questions, alternative questions that you can ask your reader, that as a reader, for me, I love getting into. So how about you?
Well, I'm going to add, and I do often get this, as you pointed out, just experience, or this question is, I might go and asking who has passed, who has a message for me, because
Yes.
almost, well, a lot of times that comes up. And that's something that a reader can do for you that you wouldn't necessarily be able to do for yourself. You wouldn't trust the message that you might be getting it, even in a dream.
Right.
But often it just shows up that there is somebody in family member who you need to put an argument to rest and forgive each other, and you're empowered by the forgiveness. Sometimes forgiveness is not appropriate. I don't want to suggest that always is. Sometimes that person needs to reassure you. I was totally surprised. I had a fairly strict conservative grandfather. He was lovely, but he had definitely different values. And I had a message from when I was getting a reading where he told me how proud he was of me. And I was just like really moving. I was really tearful because he was
Wow.
a big picture in my family, and I wouldn't expect that he would think that I'm doing a great job in this interview. He was a Republican. I don't think he would think that. I came out of nowhere, and it was really helpful for me to move forward, knowing. And this is a thing I think also when you get a good reader, it confirms something you kind of already know.
True.
It's almost like you're here at the edge of knowing that, and then they bring it up, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I almost like I was just about to know that." Like that. That always helps. Like it's almost like spirit knows what you need to know today to move forward, and I think that's one questions that people often get answered even if they're not asking. And
Right,
if you
right.
made it overt, um, that would be useful. There are questions sometimes like that are just not answerable. Like I've had people go, I don't know how my father died, but he died. Like it's like a murder mystery. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
And sometimes Spirit's not going to tell you. And sometimes mostly they'll just tell you what you need to know. Um, yeah. I had a friend die recently and I needed to know that she went peacefully. It was really, really, really important to me. She's a very dear friend of mine. And I had to, um, with this V group I've mentioned, they told me, and I literally could not continue my week until I knew that. Okay. It was just that important to me, frankly.
So here's the last one. Here's a little bit of a difficult one. So what do you do when your reader is not connecting with you?
Mm. Well, I've never had that situation for the most part. And I'll just tell you one thing that I do is I put out to the universe, send me the people who I can most help.
Right.
And that has, ever since that time, 100% of the time that has happened. A reading tends to not work out. Like the phone doesn't work, the Zoom doesn't work, the money doesn't work. I'm just not the right person for them at this time.
That is
And and I have had to, as a person, and Linda G pointed this out to me once, that there's universe was blank. And she just told them the universe is blank, and she realized that it was not appropriate for that person to have a reading right then.
yeah.
How does it work in reverse? I have never I've never had that level of disappointment myself in another's reading, although, there have been some good points and bad points. But I don't really know, honestly, what you would do. I think it's appropriate is if you are a client and you are dissatisfied, and even 20 minutes into the reading, say, I'm sorry, but I don't think this is working out. I have had a friend who's intuitive do that and say, you're not, he's like a familiar reader. He said to the guy, you're not on the money today. You're thinking of something else. My friend is himself very intuitive.
Yeah.
And you're not on the money today. I need to talk to you when you're not so busy and you're focusing on me. And the person was quite shocked that he was that intuitive, and it was the truth. So I think that's fair. Be sure that it's not your own projection of feelings, that you're wanting the reader to solve your problems for you. Be sure that it's true. And again, I would check with your heart. And it's okay to say to them, nothing personal, but I'm not sure this is the right reading for me at this time.
Right.
That's fair.
I've had experiences where I would have somebody in front of me that I'm doing my best. I'm like, so here's somebody told me some really wise information. Sheila, when you offer a reading, you're already opened, you've done your work, you have invited them to your space for this reading. And if they are not open, there's nothing you can do to crack that shell. That's not power, right? That's not you can ask, you can do this, you can do that. So once somebody told me that, it's because what I'm offering is openness, a space of safeness, a safe space that we can do that. And they really want to have a reading with me. I have to say, you're going to have to open up enough for me to get in.
Yeah.
Some people come in with such huge expectations, huge walls that you just really can't get through.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm going to use now yours. All who need a reading from me, that's all, because that'll help. Because me, I was just opening to everybody. Anybody who wants one,
Yeah.
And that's
yeah.
exactly what came in. But that happened too. So I know that when I have to make sure that my responsibility, my ethical responsibility as a reader, that I have opened my space up. And then when you come across somebody who's not able to connect with you, check with yourself.
Right.
Am I open? Am I here with a closed heart? Am I here with closed mind? Am I here with just going, is she real? You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
You're probably not going to get much.
well, and here's one important distinction I think we need to make. A person say, well, what's the winning lottery ticket? I need to be rich.
Oh, yeah. I know.
And
I know there'd be
you might be saying, that's not what's best for you.
Right. It's like, I don't know.
Let's look at your job. What you're really wanting is to change your job. And you wish you could, it's so hard to change your job. You wish you could just not work. But, it might be important for you. I mean, before this job, I was an ESL teacher for many years. I got to the point where I was getting pretty worn out. But it perfectly applies to this job in ways that you could never imagine. So it's like college. There's some classes that are really hard and you don't necessarily want to take them. But they're useful for you.
Yeah, so it's not that I'm saying that it's your fault that the reader is not connecting with you, but I'm saying check yourself before you're the reader of not connecting with you. Because when you go into a reading, and if you have ethically and done your research and you have known that this reader is good for you, they're offering something to you right off the bat. That openness is already there. I ask for this space for you to receive messages. So Anyways, okay, I'm glad. If you made it this far, please, please, please stay. We have some political readings coming up, so hang in there. These are good. Okay, so now we're going to do some political readings, but one we're going to do is kind of you know Jeffrey from Ripe Color. I don't know if you met him or not. He's really
I
cool.
don't.
I
I
think
don't.
you may have met him when we did that whole collage. Remember back in the day, I did that whole collage, and he
Oh,
was
yes.
one of the readers that was there.
Oh,
Jeffrey,
right.
New York.
I'm remembering now. Yes, of course.
Yep, he actually lived in New York. He had a fire in his apartment, and he moved down to
Oh,
Mexico City.
oh,
So now he's in Mexico City where the volcano, as if, I mean, the American news is that this volcano is going to blow its top and everybody within 60 miles, which he is going to have to evacuate and it's going to be really, really dangerous. So we're getting conflicting things because I texted Jeffrey and he goes, "It's always doing that." You know,
right.
he was like, "It's always threatening to kill us," you know?
Good. Good.
So what I want you to do is, if you could, check in on that volcano and see
Okay.
where it's at.
Okay, sure. And maybe just like a little anecdote here, or just to explain, I've already meditated today. That is one important thing for, I think, a reader is to clear out their own material. And when I'm doing this, it is like um, pictures for me show up. So this is Mexico City, and from the moment you spoke of it, I did see stones flying through the air. I'm still seeing it now. My instinct to say it's not as bad as the American news, but not as good as your friend is speaking like, oh, it's always doing that. It's somewhere in between. There is lava. There are houses nearby that are going to be in trouble. And I see much of the city, all of the city, but in specific, one portion of the city really feeling with smoke. And it is a reasonably serious problem. That is, people are having difficulty getting around and going to work just because it was like, New York after 9/11. It was just like you're just breathing in the stuff. There are some serious problems and environmental problems and economic problems, but it seems almost like it's the wind. The wind is blowing most of the smoke in one direction. There is some rocks flying through the air. And some people are near to being harmed, if not harmed. They are surprised, harm to some buildings. There are some evacuations. And there is a bit of people are a bit surprised. There's a bit of an emotional shock. I'm seeing a portion of the city is very seriously affected, but it's not blocks and blocks. It's like a few blocks are affected directly, like the homes burn, maybe even buildings burn. I would say there's a state of emergency, but it's not like all of Mexico City is so affected that it disappears or stops functioning.
Well, that's good because I was just looked it up, and the scientists in Mexico are saying it's impossible to tell how long this new activity will last. So they're
Oh.
showing like cars with layers and layers. I don't know if you can see that.
I
Layers,
can kind of, yeah. Oh,
layers
I
of
can see
dust
now.
on
Yeah.
their
Uh-huh.
cars and all kinds of stuff, and they're evacuating people from the city,
Okay.
and it's doing that, you know.
Oh, okay. That's pretty much what I just saw. All
Yeah,
right.
it is
Yeah.
exactly what you just saw, where there is stuff flying out of it. There is, you and stuff, but you don't feel like is it just rumbling or is it just gonna?
There is some lava, and that is what affects the city. Um, I get the number 1,100. That might be how many people will be evacuated. Again, not the end of the world, but it's pretty serious. I do get the president kind of asking the city to pull together. Um, I do have to point out that there is something positive. The city is pulling together. So nothing like this kind of tragedy, nothing brings people together than more better than these tragedies. It helps people be very humane. That's the silver lining. Again, it's problematic and it's serious, but the long-term problems are more economic and some layers of social, I
Well,
can
you're
call them.
you're right for not knowing, because I know you didn't know this information or when we were talking about the volcano prior to, and you were dead on because they have deployed 7,000 troops to the city, to the region to prepare for the evacuation and if one is needed. More than 25 million people live within the 60 miles of that peak. So you may
Mhm.
be right that 11,000 may be the closest people to the thing. So
Yes.
well, we'll just see how it goes. That could shift in a minute.
Pray for them,
Yeah,
right?
pray for them. Exactly. And I will keep on texting Jeffrey to see if he's alive.
Okay, good. I'm sure he'd appreciate that.
I'll be like, Jeffrey, are you alive?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe you can recommend a reading with the volcano behind him
There you
erupting.
go. So that's some power.
That's
Because he's a scorpion too, so that's like double the fire power.
wow, wow. Okay.
Time to get yeah, that would be the time to get a reading from Jeffrey's while the volcano's going on.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely. All right. So here's the next one is rumored. And it's kind of in the silent news, kind of like underneath the rug kind of news. But it's rumored that Trump will be indicted Friday by Jack Smith on some accounts, not all of them, because
Mm.
Jack Smith has got like this big old ball going. But they think that Friday he's gonna get about the papers, about the documents.
I'm seeing like it's funny because there's three or four. It's almost like one of them is sort of ambiguous or maybe less serious, or like one of them is like a subheading of the other. Okay, Jack Smith. Um, it's funny because do you remember the Schoolhouse Rock? I'm just a bill and I'm only a bill. You know that there's a school. It's Jack Smith there, and it's almost he looks like that guy. It's almost like um, I'm just a cop. No, I'm only, and he's there with his this sort of all of these paperwork. And they're in like these spools, like round kinds of bits of paperwork. Okay. So is the first question when?
Yeah, is the rumor true? I guess what do you see for Friday for Trump? I think I'm going to pull some cards on that while you do that.
Do that. Yeah, I'm getting a yes, that's pretty close, if not right on the button. It could be Thursday night, too, like maybe they're released at some point on Thursday for Friday morning availability. It may even be delayed till Saturday. It might be that they're fine-tuning that right now. That could be it. It's funny because it's hard to read because Jack Smith is so unreadable. He is like the most unreadable person. He's like, I'm not telling you, Dave. Even intuitively, I'm not telling you. But let's see if there's anything more on that.
It's a secret.
Yeah. But he did just give me three tarot cards.
Ooh,
So I
let me
wonder
pull
if
them.
those are on your plate.
Oh my goodness. What I have is the first up is force.
It kind of looks demonic too.
Yes, it's
Uh,
a devil, but the devil is chained to he's forcing these two people to behave, force the
yes.
so that force. And then we have the King of Cups, emotionally balanced, diplomatic. So he has a diplomat
Mhm.
doing it. And then I got the Ace of Pentacles, which is that opportunity and abundance. So he has a lot on him and he's going to take the opportunity.
Mhm.
Will it be I don't know, I got the moon and the hangman. So I don't know if it's gonna be Friday.
Mhm.
Because
Well,
under the moon, you're right, maybe the night before, maybe and then I don't know.
mm,
Because the hangman is that sacrificial that prophecy that
Mhm.
Maybe the
I actually think it could be undecided, the timing.
yeah,
Yeah.
steady progress. I mean, I'm justice is coming up. Chair,
Hmm.
there's a lot going on with him. He has more on his plate against him. I think maybe it's coming down to which one do we start with first.
Yeah, could be. Could
But
be.
the devil's going to be chained.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's great. I mean, Jack Smith says you're right. Oh my God, the thing is, he's like, she's got it. Uh, but I got to tell you what I really like about Jack Smith is how serious he is. That man is
Yes.
not going to tolerate any leaks.
No, he has that look of if you're a criminal, I'm coming for you.
Hmm.
You're talking crap and now you have come towards my family. And like
Right.
any criminal behavior, I'm going to all of it. Like I
Yeah.
could have left you alone right there, but I'm not going to now.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
He
And
has that.
there's a really good sort of feeling of, we always look at the situation that is so horrible, but I think we do have to look at the situation and say, what are we learning? If you watch the Democrats now, they're finally learning how to argue. They're finally
Finally.
go in that, and I mean, TikTok guys, we've been waiting, but finally they go in and like, boom, boom, Jamie Raskin, love him. Um, I forget who the lady is that I like so much. That's like the housewife. Katie Porter.
Katie
Boom,
Porter.
boom, boom. All of a sudden, these guys are going in. And I feel that's true with Jack Smith. And the whole legal, now they're not they will not let anybody know the names of the jurors so that they can protect them from these personal attacks, which, are dangerous. Lawyers' lives are danger.
I
These people
agree.
are danger.
I agree. Anybody that's involved in that automatically I was gonna look for my pin. Oh, let's do these. I want to see yeah, okay. Say will Trump be indicted by Jack Smith on Friday? If they cross, that's a yes. They're crossing.
Close. I'm getting closer. Yeah, okay.
Yes, but it was a slow yes.
Yeah, just barely, yes, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe it'll be Friday at like 11:55 or something.
yeah, like yeah. That's too funny. Okay. So now let's go to the debt ceiling. Now, I don't know if you have heard current news because Kevin McCarthy had a whatchamacallit today, and the Democrats had a really great media. What are they called? What are they called when they go in front of all of the reporters and answer questions? What is it called?
I don't know. I think
Yeah, my
strongly.
brain is gone. Gone.
That's right.
Anyways, Kevin McCarthy got in front of his recorder people, media, and the Democrats got in there, and they were almost all of them talked, and they were just brilliant. I listened to the whole thing, and Kevin McCarthy's still like, no, nope, this is not gonna. He's not moving, and the Democrats are like, we're not giving in to terrorists. You know what I mean?
Right.
We don't negotiate with terrorists.
Mhm. Yeah,
And so
yeah.
they're all aboard, like if he wants to do that, and they're trying to encourage Biden to use the 14th Amendment. If this doesn't happen, just they want to just bypass. But they're using every single one of their words, like calling them out as they hold us hostage. Then they think that defaulting this country for taking away your rights and your
Mhm.
benefits is the way to go. They're really
Right.
so with that said, the debt ceiling. Now, the question I think underlining all of that, where it's still here, is will Biden raise the debt ceiling without McCarthy?
That's a great question. Okay, seeing Joe Biden, and he has old-fashioned books on his desk. But it's interesting because he's got like two stacks. And I think one stack is work with the Republicans way, and one stack is the amendment. And he's like kind of going back and forth, back and forth. What's the name of the amendment?
Well, there's you mean like the debt, either raise the debt ceiling or give us all of these cuts.
Right.
I don't know what the amendment is called. I don't know what it's
I think it's like Fourth Amendment or something. And I think I don't
Oh,
know
the
that much about it.
14th Amendment. The 14th.
14, right. And the president has the right to use that. I think it's great to have that in front of me because it's almost like this book's the 14th Amendment. Okay, he's bringing the books together. He's bringing them closer and closer together. So this will not happen instantly. It's like he's going to wait and see what the Republicans do and then make the most judicious decision. And I think this will really suit Biden because now they're playing at his game. Biden actually has the control here. They can either come up with a solution or he can come up with a solution. So if they don't come up with a solution, he's the solver, right? So what you going to do? 14th Amendment? He's kind of smiling and saying, not much choice. But part of it, one of the things that he's using is the threat of the 14th Amendment because now these guys have to come up with something or it will look like Biden solved the problem.
Yes.
So he opens the 14th Amendment book. There is like a tab on the one of the pages. He's reading it and he's pointing the words out to me. I think he might judiciously use that. And he is smiling from ear to ear. It will make him a hero.
Yeah, it will. You're right.
Never thought
I
of
think
that.
these Republicans have thought this through
Right.
because we're going to be like Superman. Do, 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 do. Biden
Right.
saved
Done.
me.
Yeah. Good one.
Oh, that it would be too funny. I'm looking at long-term view. Yeah. He is literally going to go against his enemies
Mm-hmm.
and his long-term knowledge and work is
Mm-hmm.
going to make us all happy.
Good one. Great. Go, Joe. A while
Oh,
ago, I thought that something political happened that would really benefit him, and it looking like this will.
yep. Yes, exactly. All right. So now we have Satan and Elon
Yeah. Oh boy.
in their glitchy announcement.
What do you want to know about the Satan?
So I have seen Satan walk away. Okay, so I'm just giving you a heads up that I know with my cards, I got the card of him pulling out or walking away. So I am curious exactly. Maybe you could get if that happens, because you can say no, because I could be wrong. If that happens, or if you can see how that happens.
Sure. And I have seen, like you, him in the political wilderness. I didn't know if that's before or after. He's running for president. I do see him going a certain way and then giving up. I think that he will be trying to be a mini Trump. And why should you pick mini Trump when you have the real Trump? He has made some serious political errors. And the problem is, Trump can make whatever political error and people will follow him like a god. Whereas DeSantis doesn't have that kind of charisma, if you want to call it that. Um, November, I even get a date like November 13th. I think he withdraws. I wonder if that's November this year or next. But he seems to be withdrawing. Tell me, what was the question again?
So I was wondering
Hmm.
if how is he going to why is he going to withdraw? What would be the
He seems sad. I think he just didn't get the support that he believed he would get. I think he thought people would make a transition away from Trumpism. He's looking quite sad now. He's writing something by hand. What are you writing? The writing on the wall was dropout.
ah you know
Yeah.
so as you were doing that he charges in for the day, right? That's him announcing his thing. And then I got the King of Swords inverted. And the inverted is inner truth, misuse of power, and manipulation. So it goes along exactly with what you were saying. Like
Mhm.
the writing on the wall, they're seeing how he's manipulating. And one more time, I got the same exact card of him walking away.
Right. Yep. Yep.
So with the
Mhm.
withdrawal, the abandonment, the escape.
Mhm. And I have about this much sympathy for
I know.
DeSantis. Yeah. Maybe no sympathy actually for him. And let's face it, Trump is going to be the best thing that ever happened to the Democratic Party.
I
You know,
agree.
I think that it doesn't matter how much charisma Biden has. I think Trump is now so dangerous that, as long as Biden is, adequate, people, and I mean, I think Biden has proven himself again and again to be quite a savvy political
Yes.
player.
Yes. As much as they would hate for us to realize it, we
Uh-huh.
realize what his accomplishments are.
Uh-huh.
They want to always call him Sleepy Joe. I'm like, oh, good Lord, is that all you got?
Yeah.
Is that
Mhm.
that's all you got? That's all,
At least he can spell your.
exactly.
When people tell me that he's a sleepy old guy, I say to them, Cove Fifi, Cove Fifi.
Yeah.
We all know what that means. It's like, really? Like Trump was really so together?
But
Really?
yeah, but they had high drama and chaos with Trump.
Yes.
And Biden comes along and gives it a little bit more, stability and decorum and
Hmm.
steadiness. Of
Hmm.
course they're going to call him Sleepy Joe.
Right. Right. It's boring.
He's
You know,
boring. Yeah.
politics, the
Supposed to
business
be this way.
that the business of governing is boring. And I think it's true that we have given up real political debate for a show. It is like a constant Twitter sphere out there
Yes.
instead of serious political debate. What are the Republicans doing right now except performing for Fox News every day? They're not governing, they're not solving any problems. I would ask anybody out there, name a problem the Republicans have solved for you in the last 20 years. Not a single one comes up. I can say a lot of problems they caused, like a couple of wars that went on for 20
Right.
years. You notice they always try to blame those on Democrats, even when they start them.
Oh yeah, well, because it's not it doesn't gain them any votes when they start saying, yeah, we did that. It doesn't
Uh,
it doesn't
yeah.
gain them, and they're all about the votes. They're all about the power, and they're all about the votes. And
Hmm.
once you launch your life and career on that,
Hmm.
um, anything goes. Your morality, your self-respect, I mean, it's just
Hmm.
gone. There's nothing
Hmm.
left. It's a
Hmm.
desert of morality over there.
Hmm.
Lack of
Hmm.
morality, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, those were the two that we had. We got one more.
All right.
So Elon is what is his job with DeSantis? Why is he there?
Okay. I get Elon wants to be a political player. For anybody out there, watch the latest interview with him. He is like clearly autistic, among other things. Like he can't even really answer a normal question because he's so out there. And but he wants to be this political player. He's actually standing like this, like taking money from Trump and taking money from DeSantis and going like this. He wants to be a kingmaker. That's how he perceives himself to be. And I mean, it's kind of great. He really does consider himself to be like a superior being among others. He's just a very strange person. He has delusions of grandeur. He thinks that the fact that XYZ company was successful was all because of his genius. It wasn't. He was the right guy in the right place at the right time. And he was, autistic in the right way. Right. So what else is going on with him? But in terms of power, he's very, very corrupt. Like in his decision making, it's not about making Twitter run better. It is about firing that guy Bob, who you don't like, or getting the engineers together and humiliating a couple so that you could get what you want. Anybody who would work for him would tell you that he would be a horrible president. And part of him wants to be president. He thinks that he should be president because he knows better. Anything else about this guy? The only thing I get that he's a really creepy person. Like don't ever date Elon Musk. There is something very weird about his relationships. It's something very dark. Let's just put it that way about his relationships. Power.
So
Power.
gross. But you know, Satan doesn't have the stability gene either. You can see it in his eyes and his actions. He's just there's something about him.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very much about power.
But you know that Elon did an interview and admitted that he voted for Biden.
Oh, did he?
Yes,
Yeah,
he
I
did.
think he said he did, but now he maybe changed his mind. Did he say that?
I don't know. I haven't seen the counteract of that mistake of his that he just did. He goes, well, didn't you vote for Biden? He goes, yeah, I voted for Biden.
Right.
I'm like,
Right.
you just admitted that?
Right. Right. Yeah. Interesting. Well.
Yeah, I got the glutton with him.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
With him,
Yeah.
he has that smug.
Yes.
Yeah.
He thinks a lot of himself.
Yeah, he's all he thinks about. And I also get the walk away with DeSantis as well. So
There's something about those desires he has that will lead him astray.
he's already astray. I don't even know why
Yes.
he has something that he can offer the United States.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's already chalked that one up to the
Right.
devil. You're like, bye, Elon.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right. Well, thank you so much. This has been fun, and everybody, thank you. And yeah, is there anything else you want to add?
Just thanks so much, Sheila. This is just great.
You're welcome, hon.
And love to all y'all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.